Let's go. Welcome back, guys. Very exciting couple of episodes coming through. Explore 79 Rebuild Part 1. We've got a massive trip coming up this year. We're going up through Cape York, out to the Fink. We're going to probably maybe even run out to Uluru, up to Darwin, and out into Kakadu. So we've got an absolutely massive touring trip coming up. So we thought, why not give the 79 a little bit of a spruce up? At the moment, the car's running just a little bit rough. Had some dramas with the DPF, blowing a heap of black smoke. So we've come down to the number one guys when it comes to your Toyotas, the boys at Just Auto. Now, I've spoken to so many people throughout the industry, guys. Everyone said, get your ass down here and come and chat to these boys. I come down, I spent a lot of time with Matty, the owner of Just Autos, and I got him to run me through absolutely everything they do, the technology behind how they do things. I was always really skeptical about tunes. I had some bad experience with tunes in the past, so I really wanted to know everything, how they do it. I looked at all the software, the technology behind it, and the things they can do now with tuning is absolutely crazy. So we're down here and the big girl is getting absolutely the hamburger with the lot. I'm so excited. Stay tuned, guys. This is part one. We're gonna get stuck in, and then there's a couple of other really cool changes coming to the 79. So let's get stuck in.
Hey mate.
Mate, look, I knew you were going to get stuck in and there was a lot happening, but I didn't quite expect this much to get ripped out of the vehicle.
Yeah, look, you gave us an awesome amount of time to do this job, which was great.
I literally gave him 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm leaving for Cape York in 3 weeks. I need the car done in 2, so I've sort of stitched you up a little bit here.
100%, so we had to make it work. So yeah, luckily, we got in, got stuck. The staff have been awesome. The boys have stayed back, got it done and made it happen. So
yeah, big shout out to all the boys at Just Autos, because I'm sure there was a couple of late nights and a few public holidays work. So.
Definitely, yeah. Added a bit of stress. It was good, but we got there. So.
Happy days. So let's run through, I guess. I had a few bad experiences with tunes back in the early days on the 76.
Yep.
And then we got stuck into a couple of different ECU units, and everyone sent me down to Just Autos. They said, you're the man when it comes to Toyotas. Donnie from Airing Down just got his 200 done. He hasn't shut up about it. Chalk and cheese. He said the drivability is absolutely insane. So, mate, I feel like we're in safe hands, but there is a lot of gear that's come out. So I'm pretty keen to run through sort of what we ripped out and what we've put in, and just to try and explain why we've sort of done some of the things we have. So.
All right, so we started off with obviously a goal in mind was to get to a certain power level that you wanted to sort of be at. It's really hard from a consumer point of view to go, I don't know roughly how much power I really need to do the job. First off, obviously when I dynoed the car, I could see we had some problems. You had concerns with blowing smoke and issues and so forth. So after going through everything and we checking everything out, we removed a fair bit of stuff. We've changed turbos, we've changed intake pipes, airboxes, clutches, we've pretty much done everything we can to a certain degree. So if you want, I can go through individual parts and go through everything.
Yeah, let's just show what's come out.
So this is your old exhaust system. Come out. Obviously, this is the old DPF, and now we've got our 4-inch system that BAPs make for us that are in there. One of the problems that we found was this DPF is actually melted on the back half of it, so that's half of some of the problems that you were having. Essentially, we're trying to get the car to be very reliable, especially in the outback. That's pretty straightforward as far as that goes. We're going to get this question and asked a lot. I've got your catch can and your secondary fuel filter out of this car. I've got lots of data and bits and pieces to back this up, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but basically your engine room was very well maximised with everything in there. Made it very hard to work on, and unfortunately we seem to have more problems with this stuff on the car, not just in your car, but generalised in a lot of cars. Catch cans, look, majority of the time, if they have a problem and so forth, we have issues. I have no problems with the recirculation of oil going through the system. Providing your EGR's turned off, it's not a problem. And the second thing, obviously, secondary fuel filter. Look, great idea. Secondary fuel filters aren't a bad idea. Fuel contamination is a real thing. If you were to get a gut full or a whole tank full of water and you have a proper water separator, that's different. That'll help you maybe catch it before the damage is done. In this case, it's just a secondary fuel filter. The problem here is the fact that majority of the time people are running a 5 micron filter. The factory is around about a 12, as we know. Running that filter in there, we start to have problems with cavitation, which is one of the leading cause of diesel failure is cavitation. So as much as we're putting a filter in to protect foreign matter coming through, we're creating this problem with cavitation, which is more of a problem for us. Okay to have a secondary fuel filter, but we run a 30 micron pre, and then basically into your 12. One thing that is probably best to do is that every time you change your oil and oil filter, change your fuel filter. It's cheap. Just change your factory one. Yep, you're fine. The rest of this stuff, obviously, intake pipe. We've got another G-turbo intake pipe, which we'll show you on the car when we get out there. So that's all the stuff that come out of there. Yep. Clutch. Look, it's a heavy-duty clutch that was in your car, rated for the power that you're at, and it did the job fine. You obviously didn't have any problems, and that's fine. Now the fact that we're moving into a lot more power and a lot more torque, we need a clutch that's going to be able to handle that. So we've got an MPC 1600 that's gone in your car.
Yep, we're really going from one power level right up to another. So everything did me well last year. Obviously 3-ton van, 4-ton car traveling around Australia. But now I've got a little bit excited. I just wanted to step up into that next power range for some of the bigger boats that we're going to be towing later in the year. And I mean, look, you drive a V8 Cruiser, you want to have a V8, right?
Yeah, you want it to
sound like a V8 as well.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
The last thing was a piggyback module. Great piggyback module, but unfortunately on the factory ECU, there's no comparison. And with technology and the way we've evolved and technology's gotten better, there's pretty much nothing we can't do with your factory ECU, and it is far superior once we start going down this road. Yeah,
I touched on this briefly, and it is extremely hard to sort of get this across in a really short video, but the technology that's already put into a factory ECU from Toyota is worth absolutely millions. They got technicians that have spent years developing this product, and being able to sit down on Matty's computer and see just how many parameters you're able to change on the factory ECU versus any piggyback unit is absolutely crazy, to be honest. It's a little bit of chalk and cheese. So
yeah, look, it is, and like I said, yeah, it's really hard. We can't really compare the two because it's unfair that you're comparing a piggyback with an ECU, because the ECU is far more superior than what a piggyback would be. Yeah. But as a piggyback unit goes, yeah, look, it did the job, and I can't sort of complain and say anything too wrong.
We've just decided to step it up a level and to chase bigger power and do bits and pieces. This is definitely the most efficient and well, the technology in it actually blew me away. It's crazy. So,
did you want to check those turbos out?
Yeah, let's have a look at the turbos. Alright, turbo time. Let's run you through what I had, what a factory turbo is, and then what we've stepped it up to. So we're pretty lucky. We've got a couple that actually cut open on the bench here, so we can give you a real good look at what's going on. So what do we have, Matty?
Okay, so basically I've just got a standard turbo here, a G-turbo cut in half, your turbo that come off the car, and then obviously what you currently have on the car. Yep. What you currently have is a G350 next gen. Yep. We had on here, which looks like a high flow standard turbo essentially. It's got a bigger comp wheel, but the same size turbine wheel, same size, vane set, everything about that turbo was relatively standard besides the comp wheel. The good things about that is that this turbo can probably reliably run 20 pounds of boost. The downside of that is that when you're not upgrading your turbine wheel, it's all about getting the air in and out, right? You're not really getting the air out any better, okay? And we're already limited with the factory comp wheel with that setup. So going to this, it helps a little bit, but you kind of lose a little bit as well. So it's not quite there. Yeah. So basically what we go to is the 350, and as you can see in here, if you want to come in with the camera, I'll show you some bits and pieces. You will see here when we start talking about the difference in the vane sets and so forth. Straight away, physically looking, there's a massive difference. Yeah, Not only is the outlet of the turbo on the turbine side a lot larger, it's a larger turbine, the turbine itself is a lot stronger. The vane set, which is a vane set, it's gusseted vane set, it's definitely a lot bigger than the factory set. As you can see, it's not gusseted, it's a little bit twitchy, and you can see that the play and everything, and this is completely different. Yeah. Everything has to be on point to get really good boost control and ensure reliability. We have the next gen G350 in your car now. The big difference is it's got a larger comp wheel, larger turbine wheel, so that means we can run a higher boost pressure, we can get the exhaust volume out. It's got a larger vane set, like the next gen that I was explaining over there. It's got heaps of other things that are completely different than over the OEM setup turbo. Yep. The great thing about this with your car, because we use our multi-mapping system that we have in there, we've got 3 tunes set up. We've got 25 pound, 28 pound, and 33 pounds. So we've got 3 different power levels that the car puts out. Yep. So that's something that definitely helps. we'll be running this car for essentially where you'll be towing with it on a regular basis around 25 pound. It's very safe. It's got everything working really well there. When you have nothing on, you want to have a bit more fun. You have a lot more power at hand to go to the larger tunes, which are around that 33. We can push this a lot harder, but I need to give you as much headroom as possible considering what you're doing. We're not building a race car. Yeah, we just have to build something that does the job. So that's sort of where it's at.
And I think that's something important to mention. Obviously, we are chasing more power, but we still need that reliability. We're going to be out in the middle of nowhere, up in Arnhem Land, Cape York, remote places. So the cool thing about his multi-mapping is I can change between power settings. Predominantly we're going to run at that safer level when we're around town. If I'm on the beach locally, I can wind it up, have a little bit more fun, but we're still within safety parameters. What they've put in the car. This thing can do stupid numbers, but we're not chasing that. We're not running around drag strips. I'm still a big, heavy touring car, so we haven't pushed the limits here by any means.
No, so that should be good.
Let's go check out the car. It's been a long time since I've put a new modification on the 79, so I'm frothing. Let's go check it out. First thing I noticed straight off the bat is there's a lot more room.
Yeah, definitely.
I was jam-packed. You couldn't move underneath this thing. New airbox looks clean as, all the new piping looks beautiful, and then the fans is the other thing I noticed real quick. So, what do we got?
So we run our FFM airbox, which takes the factory 79's filter. It's got a really good seal on it. There's nothing really to tell you too much more than that, but it does the job really well.
One thing that I absolutely love is that it's still factory filter, because whenever I'm remote or touring, a lot of dust coming through the safari snorkel and bits and pieces. So I've never been a big fan of your all oiled up K&N style filters. That's just a personal thing.
The thing is, you have to look at two things, and the fact that is that if you're anywhere, you need a filter, whatever happens, you can go to any shop and get a 79 series, 200 series Hilux filter anywhere. You pretty much can guarantee that one of your mates out in the farm will have one on his shelf at home. It's such a common thing. If you have something that's a little bit oddball or not, something that you can't find on the shelf, it becomes a lot harder. And then, now you are running around with a car with either a blocked air filter or something that's jeopardised because of it. So, in my opinion, is the fact that factory is definitely the way to go. We have proven that it flows, it does the job, and it works extremely well. So why not keep it? G-turbo intake pipe coming down to obviously the turbo. Then we've got our Just Autos fan kits that we use. This is just to help maintain intake temperatures, especially at low speed cruising, so up the beach, forward driving, all that sort of area. Highway speeds, not really needed because we've got the airflow coming in over the bonnet, through the bonnet scoop, through the cooler, but definitely at lower speeds it helps maintain a more consistent temperature, which means overall a more consistent power curve for you.
Happy days.
The only other thing that we can't see is obviously it's got upgraded injectors in it, so that's something that the guys have put in. Basically, when we start talking about numbers as far as how big they are, it's a varied number depending on where we're measuring and so forth. But if we're comparing back to where the factory is, it's about 28% more fuel that we have available with that injector. So we'll chuck it up on the rollers now and we'll start doing some tuning and we'll see what it comes out.
I haven't heard this thing start, so I'm excited. Alright, so we've just jumped in the car. Matty's been running the dynos this morning. We will go for a quick dyno run just to see where it's at, but we'll run you through some of the figures that he's got this morning. Now, bear in mind there's a map selector, so we've got 5 different maps. We'll run you through all of them later. But just run us through the 3 power settings that you've got for me.
So at the moment, where we've come in from, so the car drove in running 25 pound, it made 207 horsepower and 659 newton meters.
So I think it made a little bit more than that when it was done and it was efficient.
Yeah, look, I'm sure it's possible. It's hard to say with where it's at, but that's
where we come in.
So for the same 25 pounds of boost, we went to 305 horsepower and 1000 newton meters, and then on our larger tune, turned it up, we went to 390 and 1287, which is a massive improvement from where we were.
That's literally just about double from where we drove in at.
Considering you think, you know, these things come out with about 390 newton meters, 400 roughly around that, you know.
3 times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, we're up there. So, you know, and the great thing about it is that the tune's good. Our boost control and our fueling control is really good. It's clean now. There's no more smoke. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the outcome of where that figure was. So
that's absolutely insane. So we can sit on a dyno and muck around all day, but I think we've got to get it out there. We've got to go for a drive, and I'll be able to sort of feel firsthand what the drivability's like. You know, she's a big car, so we're talking about power figures before. There's a lot of people come in, they just want extra power, but I think what they don't understand is that the extra power, it really does change the drivability of the whole vehicle.
Yeah, totally. And I think that when everyone's chasing that figure and going, hey, I want to get to a certain figure, it's more or less just say, hey, I just want a car that can drive nice. And I think that you leave it to us to understand what you want to do with the car, and we'll set it up for you.
Yeah. So for me, big touring, lot of kilometers, you know, and it's a heavy vehicle. So you need the extra power to compensate for all that weight initially, and then you need even more power to get that nice drivability and get it back to, you know, something that's really enjoyable to drive for, you know, we did 45,000 kilometers last year. So we'll probably come close to that again this year. So I spent a lot of time in this truck. So I'm excited to get out on the road.
Yeah, awesome. Sweet.
Let's do it. Just pulled out of the driveway. First thing I noticed, mate, is like I don't need to put my foot down to get going.
No, like, you know, definitely as we were talking, you know, I can see the habit in you changing gears a lot. You know, you don't have to change gears, just leave it in that, you know, the high gear, and you've got the torque and the power to pull you right through that rev range. So that's something that is dramatically different, that's for sure.
It's absolutely crazy. So I keep downshifting to third to go up some of these little hill rises, and all I got to do is put my foot down, and this thing absolutely pulls. It doesn't just get going, it pulls like a steam train. So we've got a couple of bigger hill rises and a bit of highway driving that we're going to go do, just so I can really feel the difference. But so far the feel is clutch too, mate, is absolutely, am I going lefty?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Absolutely chalk and cheese. It's extremely light underfoot.
Yep.
Oh, she's fun. I'm going to have to watch me driving habits now. I'm really going to have to behave. I think one of the biggest things is when you've got a big touring vehicle like this, like we're sitting around the 4-ton mark, is I notice like you feel heavy when you get going, you sort of get going slowly. Now I just feel like I'm cruising around in a little bloody Commodore.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, once you add all that power and so forth, it's giving you that drivability. And it's people, it's really hard to understand a number. When you go, hey, I want X amount of number, you know, we're not building a race car, and the reason for it is to have that power so it becomes more comfortable, and your drivability is definitely better. And, you know, who doesn't want more power? It's not about having to use it all the time, but
no, it's
you know, just having it there, you know.
So I'm in 5th gear here, 1800 RPM, we're at 80, it's a 110 zone. Putting my foot down in 5th, there's no way in hell I could do this before. And it is just climbing. That's 100, that's 110, and this thing's just going to want to keep going. That's unreal. And that was a nice little hill climb there too. 5th gear, I would have been back in 4th all day, every day. I'm sitting here at 100, 110, 2,500 RPM, and I do have the different diff gears, just so everyone knows. But it's like it's just cruising. Whereas I know before, sitting on the highway, I always felt like I was revving it, like it was always revving just that little bit harder than what it probably should have been.
Yeah, you probably find you had to put in a fair bit more fuel, because obviously, you know, with the standard injectors and turbo and so forth, you really are maximising that whole system out, and it's not quite right for the setup that you want. At the moment, at that 2.2 area, it's, you know, definitely the most efficient part of that engine. Anywhere from that 1950 to 2,200 RPM is our most efficient part. So we're going to find that you're going to get your best consumption at where we are right now.
100%.
And it's just going to be a pleasure to drive. And the fact of the weight that we have on now, add a trailer to it, it's just going to do that job, you know, awesome. And every rise that we're going to come to, you're just going to leave it in top gear and just cruise up. You don't even have to go very foot, just cruise up. You know,
well, I'm barely touching the accelerator just to cruise at 100. Like I'm literally feathering the accelerator, whereas before I'd be in it a little bit. I could hear that the motor was working harder. Well, we've got a couple more hill climbs we're going to do for a bit of fun, and then we might head back, and I want you to just run me through this 5 map. We'll run through all the different tunes that we've got on here.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, guys, so we went for a drive. I got to play around with all the different modes while we were on the road there, and Maddie's just sat me down and run me through them all, so I thought I'd show you guys. So it is their custom multi-mapping. Now, these guys are the only guys in the game that have got this level of customization within the different modes. It's actually, like, it's ridiculous how different each one of these modes are. So technically there's 7 modes. You got 0 round to 6. 0 is an immobilizer. The car won't start. It'll crank but just won't turn over. Which is kind of cool. It'll just keep cutting out, so a little bit of safety and bits and pieces there, guys. The first mode is a valet mode, so if you're going to let any of your mates drive the car, like if I let Alex drive this car, I'll put it in number 1. It won't rev over 2,800 revs, which is pretty cool. So if you're giving it to a mechanic or anyone like that, you know, it sounds loud, they go out to give it a hiding and it just doesn't have that much go, which is pretty cool. Number 2, guys, is idle up. So it gives you a nice high idle. I think it sits up about 1,500, so perfect for winching. And if you just want to get a bit of charge into those batteries, which will come in nice and handy. 3 is sort of, they call it stock plus. Stock plus. I mean, we're running all the different injectors and turbos, so there's nothing stock anymore, but that sits at 25 PSI. It's sort of that round town driving. It's probably what I'm going to keep it in most of the time when I'm just cruising around on the coast and bits and pieces. The next mode is the towing mode. Now, this one's pretty cool. So the towing mode, obviously, it gives the engine its maximum efficiency, and this is the really cool thing as well. It has the ability to use engine braking. And it's pretty crazy. You'll be driving down the street, come off the gas, and you can feel this thing start to pull up with engine braking. So for towing, guys, that's just going to come in extremely handy, especially when you got those big boats on the back and you're coming down the hill. Just helps to really pull it up, save absolute destroying your brakes. Now, number 5, guys, is maximum power outlet. So something to mention as well, that towing mode sits at about 28 PSI. Then when we go up to the max power, you're at 33 PSI we're running through, so still not ridiculous amount of pound running through her. But look, this is obviously when you need that extra go, or if you want to overtake on a long hill, give it the extra and away you go, mate. This thing absolutely pulls like a train. It's insane. I can't wait to get out there and use it more and put it into some situations where I'm used to driving, some of the big hill climbs that I'm used to going up, because this thing's just going to absolutely walk up everything now. And then the last one, guys, we'll show you some of these functionalities, but this is a little bit of fun. This is Power Plus. So it gives you launch control, which we'll show you, and lumpy idle, and it has a higher pedal sensitivity as well. So basically your responsiveness is right there. So this is when you want to be a bit of a yahoo, have a bit of fun with your mates. Listen, I got to show you. You'll know what I mean by being a bit of a yahoo. If you love your big, lumpy, old school V8s, it just sits there lumping away at 600 RPM. And then if you want to go launch control, have a listen to this. Oh, it's unreal. So there you go, guys. That's the lumpy tune with the launch control. It puts a smile on your face every time. There's no doubt about it. So one thing you'll notice, guys, as we work our way through all these different tunes, as you sort of step up in power, you can actually hear it open up. When we get to mode number 5, it's a lot deeper. It's that gnarlier bark and just that sort of deeper groan, which is pretty cool, because if you want to just cruise around the streets or you want to leave your house early in the morning, you can leave it in that sort of stock plus mode, which just makes your car just that little bit quieter, or if you're on those longer drives, but then when you want the noise, you'll hear it. It just opens up, and it's badass, just quietly. All right, guys, well, I could not be more stoked. Can't wait to get out there and test this thing properly. We're not going to muck around. We leave for Cape York in a few days. We might even sneak a Fraser trip in, so we'll see how we go. But for now, I'm going to run up to the Bush Company. Part 2 of the 79 refresh is coming, and it's a big one. It is a big one. So let's get up there and run you through what we're doing. Let's go, biggest giveaway we've done. Thanks to you guys, we cracked 100,000 subscribers. We told you we had a cool giveaway coming. Here it is, guys. Anyone who jumps on our website and grabs an item of clothing or any of our canvas products, every item is an entry, so go wild. Goes in the draw to win nearly $20,000 worth of product. 4.2 tinny. Bris Marine got the 20 horsepower Merc on the back, on the trailer. Max Trax skid, beer from your mates, Red Arc Go Block, nearly 2 grand just there alone. GME, stereo, speakers, VHF radio. MSA guys are giving away $1,500 for you to go nuts. Part 2 of the 79 rebuild. We told you there was a part 2 coming. We're going to do a bit of a refresh on the 79. You've just seen the video of all the new performance mods that have gone in with the boys down at Just Autos. They absolutely went to town. Now we're going to get into a couple of other things. I'm not going to let too much out of the bag, but the sign behind you is going to give away a few things. We're down here at the Bush Company on the Sunshine Coast. It's getting a facelift. It's getting a proper little facelift. There's been a few little teething issues on the car. I'll run through why we're changing some of the things over, but let's get stuck in, guys. Let's go. This man needs no introduction. Dean from the Bush Company. You should have seen him on enough videos by now. Mate, everyone's going to be thinking I'm coming into the Bush Company to get a brand new rooftop tent or awning.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we're not.
No, no.
All right, so this is a big one, guys. This is this took a lot of time to sort of decide which direction I wanted to go. But I'm gonna let Dean let the cat out of the bag. What are we doing?
Yeah, guys. So basically, we're gonna be fitting a new bull bar to Matty's car.
So that's a big one.
Big thing, but yeah, basically, I've been running the Anchor bar for a bit on my truck. You guys might have seen as well.
Yeah.
Matty's definitely seen it up there. But biggest thing for me is so the Bush Company Australia is the sole distributor for the Anchor brand of product.
Yeah.
Basically, they've been building bull bars for years out of South Africa.
Yeah.
Strong stuff, really focused on strength.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty exciting.
Very exciting. So I first seen the bull bar, obviously on Dean's car. He rocked up and I was just like, wait a minute. What is that? Where did you get that? Because I obviously keep up with a lot of the bull bars. There's a lot of different bull bars coming through over the last few years, but this one has got a couple of really cool little things, little 1%ers that makes it slightly different from anything else on the market, and it looks badass on the front of a 79 series. It's no secret, I run the ARB bar, that's what's on there now. I've run that for years and years.
Yeah.
I've had it on D22, Patrol, GU, the 76, the 79, and I just wanted to go something a little bit. I just want to have a couple of different styles. Rather than running the same bull bar on every vehicle, I'm going to mix it up. When I seen Dean's 79, he kind of hates me for putting the Anchor on because I'm stealing his style. he's like, what do you mean you want to copy me? And I was like, well, I don't know, it looks pretty good.
One of these days you're going to be wearing khaki pants and green shirts.
It's too late, I already am wearing khaki. So, all right guys, we're going to head out the back because we just went for a coffee. The boys didn't muck around. They've already thrown it on the hoist and they're ripping things off. So let's get stuck in. Let's go have a look. All right, here's the workshop boss, Matt. He's getting straight into it. You didn't muck around, mate.
No, not at all, mate.
I thought we'd do some filming first, but he's got the bonnet up. It's up on the hoist. He's already started ripping the electronics out. So, guys, there's a few things we're doing. It's not just a bull bar. To run you through a couple of reasons why, I had a guy back into me and he's basically torn all the front, dinted up a little bit of the front of the bar, scratched it up. I got the Bush Ranger winch on. This thing, it's not working, to be honest. There's a mechanism that just isn't working. So I've gone and bought a new winch. I just bought one because I was like, you know what, I need to get it done and dusted. It's a Warn, guys. I'll show you it shortly, but Warn have been around forever. I used to run them on my old patrols. I've never had any dramas with Warn. They always have been known as the best in the game. So I've gone and bought a Warn, and there's a few other things we're changing, but we'll give you a look as we go along. The boys are going to get stuck in and strip it down.
We've got lights coming off, winch coming off.
Yeah.
The GME antennas are coming down.
Yeah.
So
it's
quite
not
a lot to
not a
pull
little
off.
job. Big job.
No, big job, but it'll be good.
We've got a couple of days. Let's get stuck in. All right, next dilemma, running the lights on the front. Now, one light wasn't working. I thought it might have been a little bit of wiring or something like that. And then we got here and my other light is now not working. We've tested the power to the lights. I've got power running to both lights, just the lights aren't working. So looks like we're going new lights as well. Don't know what lights we're going to go, but looks like we're going some new lights. So
You're a bit stumped, Bakes.
yeah, I'm a little bit. I figured it was just a loose connection on that left light, and now I've got no lights. These worked yesterday. We drove home from Fraser with that spotty on. Leave that with us. We've got the new bar unwrapped. We've got the new worn 12,000 pound. It's the VR Evo winch. I'll run you through that in a second. That's mounted in. We've got a little bit of a hold up. I've decided to change the front headlights now. They were supposed to rock up yesterday, small delay. So we can't actually put that bar work back on because we need to pull the lighting out, put the new headlights in, and then we'll be able to fit the bar work up. So we've got the rock sliders going on the side. Here's a little bit of a look at them. Absolutely clean as. Obviously these are designed to fit straight onto the chassis of your standard 79s. I'm running the full 300mm extension J-Max, so it's a whole new rear chassis, and the rest of the chassis is braced. So we're gonna have to make up a couple of little different brackets, which Dean's gonna then get all made. That way, if anyone has the J-Max, they'll have mounting brackets so that they can go straight on, basically.
So basically just cut up the existing brackets we had and added on this massive flat bar to go around the additional bracing point, and that'll just bolt into the original holes as it was meant to be from factory. So it should be pretty good. Next job is to just draw out the back and we can finish it off, and basically one's rock slider on. Just go through the difference. There's a big difference between like a side step and a let's call it a rock slider as well, or one that's incorporated.
Yeah.
So we'll just have a look at these. Let's go around. So this is the one that came off of the vehicle. Basically what you got is a single tube there, all right, and then you've just got the plate which is kind of ending into not much. So when you do come up to a big rock, you're going to basically get snagged up on the pipes, or can get snagged up on the pipes, and this is more of a typical side step. It's a strong side step, all right, and it does give you the side protection, so it's not bad, it's just not a full rock slider. Then you come have a look at the Onca one here. You've got the smooth tube basically on the inside as well, so your step plate attaches onto both points. You've got the whole long slider right through there with no interference from any cross beams. And then you've got the inner tube as well, or the inner box section there. So if you get up on a rock, for example, you do have the ability to drive off it, and it should slide along both of the hard surfaces, as well as giving you side protection on there as well. So just giving you a nice smooth sliding surface, basically being more of a rock slider.
Well, there you go. That just gives you the idea, putting them side by side, just so you can see the difference and the reason. We always do something for a reason. It's not just for the sake of it. So that is a better rock slider. It is definitely a stronger side step. We've had a few times where the old 79 has been hung up on rocks and bits and pieces, so this just gives that added strength and ability to give it a little bit more mumbo and know you're just going to slide straight over it. So happy days. They look good too. This is actually day 3 on the build, so we're jumping around a little bit here, but the boys managed to get both the steps on. We had to weld up the new brackets, get them all painted and looking schmick. They actually look so clean. It's the same finish, the same bolt heads and everything that's used on the Boss aluminium canopy, which is nice, or very similar anyway. So it all sort of ties in from the back through to the front. We still haven't shown you the bar, but here's the back of the bar. We got the warns all in, ready to go. The GME aerial's on. That's all sorted. And we're just about to start ripping the headlights out. That's the next step.
That's the next step.
Headlights out, so...
Hopefully yours turn up, eh?
Yeah, I know. We're waiting. And then we've run into a big issue with spotties too. So Dean's got some really nice spotties on his car. I was like, they'd look good, Dean.
Yeah, well, but you can't have those. So
what do you got for us?
Mate, so a good mate of mine gave me these a while back, and I'll lend them to you because they sentimental.
Perfect.
So good old Light Force lights.
LED spots, 8-inch LED.
Yeah, they're probably 10 years old or something. They'll do the job perfectly well.
They got silver surrounds. They'll match the car.
Match the car.
But literally, we leave in a couple days to Cape York, so I'm struggling. And rather than running out and buying something, No one's got stock of anything at the moment. So
Lend a set from a mate, it's all right.
So I'm going to borrow Dean's old spotties for the front of the truck, and I'll have to put a bit of thought. So guys, let us know in the comments, what's your favourite spotlight? Who do you think we should run on the front of the truck? Because at the moment, I don't even have time to worry about it. So fingers crossed, headlights go in, the bull bar's going to go on with the Light Force spotties, and it should all tie in sick. I'm getting pretty excited.
Hell yeah, it's going to look good.
It's looking real good. These are 79 series headlights from the boys down at PVS. They do just about anything aftermarket for your cruisers, your head decks, your steering wheels, your lights, your grills. But we thought while we're freshening up the front end, a set of black headlights, they look good, eh?
Sorry, I'm getting in here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I know. They look real good.
Look at that, sexy.
Let's peel that off. Let's have a look. Well, that's nice. That is nice. All right, let's get these in. This is just going to tie off the front end, I reckon.
I'm going to just gain myself some lights.
All right, look at that. The blackout PVS lights are going in. They look sick. Just that little bit of a smoke through them, so they're not the clear as the standard lights. That's going to tie in super nice. They also have really flashy colours, which we'll show you shortly. You can jump on an app. You can modify them all if you want your disco lights. Here we go. So that's the white. Oh, look at that. You can actually modify everything on this through an app, but I'm probably just going to want white. I'm a little bit boring. Yes. There it is, guys. The first look at the front of the Onca bar on the 79. We've got the black grill to go in. The boys will bolt all this up now, and we'll give you a look when it's finished. Here we go, guys. Here's the reveal. I'm actually frothing. It looks bad.
It looks so mean, aggressive.
They're sick of
Love
me.
it.
They're sick of me. Oh, we'll show you. Here we go, guys. The Onca bar on the front with the side steps, all the powder coating, even the nuts exactly match the canopy on the back. You got really nice headlight protection here as it wraps around the side. Smoky black lights in there, which look absolutely unreal. We put the Just Autos black grille on. There's the Bushduff party lights coming on. A couple of Terralume lights in the bar work there, but absolutely stoked. How good does that look?
It's come on an absolute treat, bud.
All right, so let's run through a few features of the actual Onca bar. So we ran through the side steps and how tough they were. Now we'll run through the bull bar. So it's actually really thick material used in the bar work, eh?
Absolutely. So full steel bull bar.
Yeah.
And it's got these really nice curves just accented through the whole thing, or just giving it extra strength.
Yeah.
The other side of it, a full worn 12,000 winch goes in there.
Yeah. Which is 12,000.
12,000 pound winch.
All bars are winch compatible, straight off the bat.
Exactly, straight off the bat. We've got recovery points, which are rated recovery points as well.
Yeah, so let's show them.
Yeah, so
rather than needing to bolt on, which is the normal way.
Yeah, other than running, like, for example, a chassis mount, you can still do that if you were going to be lugging like massive caravans or big 9-meter boats around. But this is more than enough, and it is rated as well. So good recovery points there. These little circular receivers are actually pretty interesting. So that was an old army style for high lift jack mount. So that way, once you put a high lift jack in there, a round adaptation plate allows the car to actually pivot, so the jack doesn't come out and kick out from underneath you, which is pretty handy.
What do we got at the front here?
So the big thing with these is we've got a rated front, basically tow ball insert.
So sick.
So that is great. Whether you want to push a boat in the water safely from the front, giving you good visibility, obviously used in like off-road situations, or you just want to push a caravan around the house. Caravan boats, get it in tight corners, you can see exactly what you're doing when you have the front hitch on.
So handy. Let's talk about thickness in materials, because it's a lot thicker material than some of the other bull bars.
Yeah, look, we're running anywhere between a 4mm up to a 6mm on the actual winch mounting cradle as well.
Yep.
Fully gusseted, full support. There are a whole bunch of nice little vent holes also cut into it.
Yep.
And still giving you optimal airflow through the front of the bar as well.
And factory, just like most bars, guys, you get your double spotty lights, spotty mounts. You get the GME mount.
For the antenna,
They are working on a few other things, so it will end up coming out with probably 2 aerial mounts, which is always handy. There it is, guys. Onca bull bar. If you want any information on it, more information, the Bush Company up on the sunny coast, get onto any of the Bush Company dealers and they'll be able to help you out. But that's it. What a beast. Good. Look at that. All right, guys, well, there we go. The facelift on the 79, that's the bulk of it done and dusted now. We're running 390 horsepower, 1280 odd newton meters with the big Just Autos upgrade, the Just Autos grill, and then the front end freshen up with the PVS lights, the Just Autos grill again tying in. You got the Onca bar from the Bush Company, which, look, I'm so stoked. I actually haven't run a different style of bar for many, many years, and I am absolutely frothing this. We've got the old Light Force spotties up front, so make sure you let us know in the comments what we should swap them over with. The new side steps, something that I should also mention, guys, is they are working on scrub rails for anyone who's going to ask in the comments. There will be some scrub bars that go from the bull bar tying in to the side steps there. So you'll have to wait and see. We'll have a look at them when they come out, decide whether we want to put them on. Right now, I'm happy it looks absolutely clean as. No mucking around. We leave in 4 days for Cape York. So this is the freshen up. We've now got a couple of 1,000 kilometers to go drive. So if you've enjoyed this, guys, make sure you chuck it a like. Shout out to all our subscribers, you legends. Till next time, make sure you get out and enjoy the Explore Life.